Howdy y'all, my name is Scott. I'm the author of Rivet Stone, and I may be just some author, but let me tell you, this is almost like a sister video to the feedback video that I did, I don't know, probably was like a week ago for now, who the heck really knows. And instead of this being a tip on how to provide feedback, this is how to use the feedback that you get from other people. You know, you reached out, you had this whole conversation, you talked to a stranger, bless your heart, and you know, you eventually got this feedback. And this isn't a video to talk about how to use good feedback, because if someone gives you like, I don't know, like 10 pages of just exquisitely written, just like nice, it's like very line by line, like it's exactly what you asked for and it's great, like, yeah, you don't need some random guy on the internet, you don't need just some author to tell you how to use good feedback. It's good for a reason. Do I need to tell you why good food tastes good? Like, no, just, you know, but what happens when you get a real stinker? Or maybe a better question is when you get something you don't expect on what you can get from particularly bad feedback. Now, I think one very common bad feedback that we can get is just hyper negative. You know, I think there's this definitely buzzword about, you know, about constructive criticism only. If you don't like it, don't read. And you know, there's definitely a very small kernel of truth to that. Like, definitely just getting a bunch of negative, like, go unalive yourself, you know, type feedback is not going to be beneficial for anyone involved. But there's definitely some out there who would be able to provide you something that's definitely, it can feel a little critical. You're going to be like, dang, I suck. And that's the last thing you want to do. But again, even with that sort of feedback, there's always something that you can kernel from it, right? There's always something that you can utilize within bad feedback. And oftentimes the first thing you need to do, especially if the language is very lengthy or if things very hypercritical, I want you to like either mentally or even just literally write it down, like take the words and like translate it into like normal language. Like pretend it's actually a person who's looking at you and telling you these things, because people talk on the internet differently rather than one-on-one. Like, if I was talking, I'd be like, hey, yeah, no, it's pretty good. Like, you're not going to rib roast some guy in real life unless they're your friend or you're really about it. I'm not about it. So reinterpret, almost like translate the language that they use into something that's more reasonable. I received some critical feedback that at first I was just like, this guy, he's just a hater. Like, what am I going to do with this? But in reality, once I kind of peeled back and sort of took it at what it was like kind of getting at, you know, I realized like, yeah, you know what, like some of these sentences could be a little bit clearer, and rather than just being angry and trying to prove them wrong, rather it's, you know, I was able to, because I retranslated into just normal people language, I was able to actually glean some useful information of it. And now I have another version that I can A/B test with other readers, like a variation that at least made me be more critical or more thoughtful of like, is this becoming a little too flowery, too wordy? Is my poetry brain kicking too much in a high gear? Is this actually interesting or is it sluggish? And it's not like these are bad things to think about, and nor do I think it's going to impact like my voice as an author or anything like that. But being able to sort of take the good with the bad, and when you get the bad, actually make it into something useful, is definitely a very case-by-case skill. But it's important to not just throw these things away. Give it a chance, and you never know. Maybe you'll get some useful information out of it. But anyway, hopefully that helps. If that, give me a like, give me a sub, and let's get published.